Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
At 12:30 this morning, a man died in a crash. The major highway it happened on, and what authorities tell us about the driver of the car.
And a cold front crossing our state overnight last night leaves us with some damp streets and the potential for some fog. I'll show you what it will look like when you head out.
And ballot change. Today, the case that could change the result of the race for state Supreme Court, taking a step forward. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We are glad you're with us on this Friday. It's a lot warmer out there. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levingo. Now, what you saw there, a little bit of that video that's kind of setting the tone as you're waking up this morning. Some visibility issues in certain places, not everywhere, though. Elizabeth Gardner is tracking that right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
We definitely have the right ingredients for some fog to develop. Of course, we had some rain overnight. It's been warm. We're going to see temperatures dropping a little bit, but we really haven't seen a whole lot of fog developing. Fog would be showing up at quarter mile and on these sensors, 3 miles, our lowest visibility. But notice this little orange section down there in the sandhills. That could be some patchy fog. However, when I pull up the cameras, I don't see anything out there. Definitely some low cloud cover this morning, but by lunchtime, the clouds are gone. Sunshine returns, and it's going to be nice and warm with temperatures in the 70s. A live look at North Hills right now. I know it's dark, but we're definitely seeing some cloud cover here. 57 is our temperature. We're looking at mid-60s in the south and mid-50s in the north, mid-50s around the triangle. 15 to 25 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday. So that's a big change. And it will be a nice mild afternoon too, with highs near 70 degrees. But we're going to switch it up for tomorrow. I'll show you how much colder it will be coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL traffic center, Elizabeth. We're seeing some of that low cloud cover that you just mentioned on this live camera view, courtesy of our live cam network, I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. Traffic is definitely picking up, but moving nicely in both directions, which is good news as you're about to head out. As we widen out the view, there you see the fog that Elizabeth just mentioned to the south of the triangle this morning, but no major incidents to report on any of our major roadways. You're getting ready to head out this morning. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the triangle.
A man was killed in a crash in Nash County, and this happened just before 12:30 this morning on Highway 264. Now, that's not far from the town of Bailey. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows this on your screen, this red vehicle with damage to the side sitting near the tree line. Investigators say only one person was inside the car, and they say they do not believe the driver was impaired.
Today, the first trial court hearing in the unresolved state Supreme Court election is happening in Wake County Superior Court. Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs received about 700 more votes than Republican challenger Jefferson Griffin in November. Griffin sued, arguing that more than 60,000 people who cast ballots in the race should not have been allowed to vote at all. Today's hearing will allow both sides to present their motions.
WRAL is working to get more information about a motorcyclist who was badly injured in a crash with a car in North Raleigh. Now, this happened on Falls of Noose Road near Quail Ridge Road just before 11 o'clock last night. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as police shut down that road, and we are making calls to learn more about what caused the crash and the extent of the person's injuries.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, also following reports of a crash in Johnston County. An abandoned car on US 70 and near Wilson's Mills was actually struck by a driver, blocking both eastbounds of the highway. This is video here from the WRAL breaking news tracker. The driver did not suffer serious injuries and was able to walk away from this crash unharmed. Police say he was wearing his seatbelt and the airbags did deploy. The driver said he was on his way back home to Wayne County when he hit that vehicle. The abandoned vehicle was just tagged to be towed yesterday. The highway did reopen around 4 o'clock this morning.
Michelle, thanks. Police were at a home in Goldsboro until at least 2 o'clock this morning investigating a death. Officers responded to a residence on South John Street after 7:30 last night. They found 65-year-old Donnell Hinton inside. EMS personnel pronounced him dead. Investigators are trying to learn more about what led to his death. Today, the health plan for state workers is expected to undergo major changes because of rising costs. The governing board of the state health plan is expected to give State Treasurer Brad Briner the go-ahead to overhaul pricing. Briner's advocating for adjusting insurance premiums based on employee pay. That would make them more affordable for state employees who earn less, while those who make more would pay more. The health plan is projected to run a deficit of more than $500 million in the next fiscal year. The board meets at 9:30 this morning.
Today, we expect a ruling in a case that could affect the sentences of dozens of death row inmates in North Carolina. A judge in Johnston County is expected to issue a ruling today in the case of Hassan Bakot. He was convicted of murder in 2009 because a teenager was shot and killed during a robbery. He was sentenced to death row, and his attorneys argue that racism tainted the trial. Governor Roy Cooper commuted Bakot's sentence on his last day in office. However, if the judge rules in Bakot's favor, it could bring the sentences of dozens of others into question. And that decision is expected at 10 o'clock this morning. And yes, WRAL will be inside the courtroom when that decision is issued. You can tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening for updates and an analysis of the judge's ruling.
We are working to learn more this morning about a crash that saw a car go off Capitol Boulevard and then into a creek. This happened near the Wade Avenue exit around 11 last night. The WRAL Breaking News tracker was there as police searched the area around the car. Police have not said if anyone was injured or if any charges will be filed.
New this morning, the International Criminal Court is condemning sanctions against it from the Trump administration. It says it will continue its work. Trump signed an executive order yesterday issuing those sanctions. It's an effort to punish the ICC for issuing warrants last year. Those were seeking the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister. Charges included war crimes and crimes against humanity for Israel's military actions in Gaza. The ICC also sought the arrests of top Hamas leaders.
The deadline for federal workers to accept a buyout from the Trump administration is on pause as you look live at the U.S. Capitol. A federal judge issued the ruling last night. It will allow for legal proceedings about the offer to play out. Before the pause, federal workers were told they had until midnight last night to decide whether to accept the deal. Several unions filed a lawsuit seeking a temporary block.
North Carolina's Attorney General launched an investigation into the PowerSchool data breach. The breach affected millions of teachers and students. The company makes software every North Carolina public school uses. A worldwide breach in December is blamed for exposing personal information of the teachers and parents in our area. Every school in the state was affected, and more than a month later, families are just now being notified, including those in Wake County.
This morning, we'll get our first indicator of how the U.S. job market is performing in 2025. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the January jobs report at 8:30. Economists expect it will show job gains remaining fairly solid. The number of jobs have gone up for 48 consecutive months. The economy added 2.2 million jobs in 2024.
Your time is 6:07. Hard to see what NCDOT is doing about hundreds of complaints about the road markers on I-440.
And etched into history, a former Carolina Panther joins the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The honors for 4 new inductees. Elizabeth.
And we're starting with some clouds this morning. It is warm. Temperatures are in the 50s and 60s already. So hitting 70 degrees this afternoon is not a stretch. Enjoy it, though, because we're back into the cooler air tomorrow. I'll show you how the weekend will go.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:10, watching a cold front crossing our area overnight last night. We definitely had some rain with this, so some of the streets, some of the roads are going to be a little bit wet, but shouldn't be enough to cause you any problems. We do have drier air that's starting to push in behind it. Could be a little bit of patchy fog, but we're not really seeing much on the sensors. I just noticed Rocky Mount dropped down to 2 miles, but quarter of a mile would be fog, and we'll go over that in a little more detail in just a little bit, but it's certainly not widespread this morning. Cloud cover decreases dramatically as we get between now and lunchtime. We're going to see some sunshine out there. Beautiful afternoon. But here's a look at downtown Raleigh from our Jimmy V camera on Fayetteville Street. You can tell that the roads are a little bit on the wet side, and we do have some cloud cover in our forecast for at least the next few hours. Temperatures this afternoon, though, near 70, Ken.
And Elizabeth, we're seeing some of those damp road conditions here in the WRAL Traffic Center as we take a live look, courtesy of a live cam network of I-40 and Carytown Boulevard. Traffic is definitely picking up, but those low cloud that you talked about, Elizabeth, we are seeing that as well. But if I-40, the Beltline part of your morning commute, it's free and clear as you're about to head out. Right now, in terms of the major roadways into the capital city, very little to no delays whatsoever. And similarly, in the Bull City, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour.
Drivers on I-440 in Raleigh tell us it's impossible to see the road markings. They say the faded lines in some places are creating a dangerous situation. Hundreds of people have taken to social media to express their frustrations. One person posted, quote, "I have a terrible astigmatism due to a corneal injury I got in a car accident. In the rain, all the lights reflected on the road make it nearly impossible to drive." Now, we reached out to the NCDOT team to learn more about what's being done to address the problem. And we're told they are waiting for a perfect stretch of weather to repaint the lines.
We've had some snow. We've had weather conditions that weren't really the best for anything staying down on the road for any length of time. They were temporary and they need restriped, which we are going to get to as soon as we can.
We also asked if the current condition of lines has played a role in any crashes. NCDOT says it would take months before that data is ready.
Dramatic body cam video shows a deputy in California saving a woman from a flooded car in the nick of time. The sheriff's office says the woman was driving to work on a rural road early Tuesday morning when she crashed into a flooded creek. The deputy broke the car's back window to help give the woman room to breathe. He then pulled her out and helped her get to safety. The sheriff's office says he rescued her not a moment too soon.
By the time he gets her out of the vehicle and onto the roadway, he turns around at the very end of that video. The vehicle is almost completely submerged.
At least 2 people have died in flooding in the Bay Area this week.
Jury selection has begun in the trial of a man accused of attacking author Salman Rushdie. Hadi Matar was in Western New York in a courtroom yesterday. He's accused of attacking Rushdie in August 2022. That happened during a speaking event in which the author was conducting. Rushdie was left blind in one eye, and Matar is facing charges including attempted murder.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a search is underway in Alaska after 10 people on a plane did not arrive at their destination. It was leaving from Unalakleet for Nome just after 2:30 p.m. local time. I want to show you this map here. This is the flight path that the plane was on. You can see the plane traveling from Unalakleet for Nome, and you see at the end there how it just disappears off the radar. The Coast Guard said the plane was about 12 miles offshore when its position was lost. The flight from the two cities should take under an hour, only about 55 minutes. 9 passengers and a pilot were on this plane. This is a picture of the type of aircraft we're talking about. It's a Cessna, so a very small aircraft. The Coast Guard has been notified. They also say they are actively searching on the ground as well.
All right, we'll stay on top of that. Michelle, thank you. The Pro Football Hall of Fame has 4 new members. The honorees were introduced at last night's NFL honors ceremony. Former Carolina Panthers defensive end Jared Allen is among them. The other new Hall of Famers are longtime Packers wide receiver Sterling Sharp, former Eagles defensive back Eric Allen, and ex-Chargers tight end Antonio Gates. They will officially go into the Hall of Fame at a ceremony in Canton, Ohio this summer.
Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen was named the league's most valuable player at the NFL honors ceremony. Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings won Coach of the Year, and the offensive and defensive rookies of the year were Jaden Daniels of the Commanders and Jared Verse of the Rams, respectively. And coming up in What's Trending, how host Snoop Dogg roasted Bill Belichick during the ceremony.
Fox 50 is your home for Super Bowl Sunday. It starts at 11 in the morning with Road to the Super Bowl. At noon, the Madden Cruiser will go on a Bayou adventure with Bill Belichick. Then at 1, the Super Bowl 59 pregame show starts. It all leads up to kickoff of the big game at 6:30. From comedy to live music, there is a lot happening this weekend in the Triangle.
So first, let's start off with an award-winning comedian in town. We've got Jim Gaffigan coming here, making history this week by being the first comedian to perform 5 shows at Durham Performing Arts Center. He has 3 shows left. He's performing tonight, and then he has 2 shows tomorrow. And some tickets are still available. He's being joined by special guest Ted Alexandro.
If you're looking for live music, there are a few options. North Carolina's American Aquarium is playing at Lincoln Theater tonight and tomorrow. It's part of their annual road trip to Raleigh. They're being joined by different bands each night. Tickets are $50 in advance and $60 at the door.
And Sunday is the big game, but it's also the day for the Geek and Grub Market in Durham. This is a great family-friendly pick for the weekend. The market is from noon to 5 p.m. It's gaming themed, so you can look for all types of games to play and merchandise. There will be more than 50 vendors. Admission is free. And for more on these events, you can just go to WRAL.com and search the keyword out and about.
It is 6:17, and a few hours ago when we were all driving into work, it looked kind of foggy out there, but in some places it doesn't seem so bad now.
Yeah, it's cleared up for the most part, according to Elizabeth. You can see the cameras behind you looking pretty good.
Yeah, we're looking just fine. As a matter of fact, we're really starting to clear at downtown Raleigh right now. We had our cold front come through. I'm going to show you that in just a second, and I think behind it we're really starting to see some of that drier air work in. Not to say that you won't see some patchy fog, especially in rural or low-lying areas, especially down towards, say, the Sandhills, but it's certainly not widespread, as you can see. Here's a live look at Fayetteville and Apex and Chapel Hill in particular. We can really see the street well, and you can tell there's a little sheen there. So again, some of that rain still lingering, just a little bit of wetness on the roads, but nothing that should cause you any problems. Here's a look at our front. Behind the front, we're going to see cooler. We're going to see drier air. I shouldn't say it's cooler because it's going to be nice and warm, but dry air working in behind our front that is pushing down towards South Carolina right now. We take a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. We had a couple of showers earlier. You can see that rain is over. This afternoon, skies will be clearing by lunchtime. We'll see 70 degrees. But then tomorrow, another front dips down. It puts us right back into the clouds. A few showers late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then just 53. And then a complete change on Sunday. We'll see increasing sunshine with temperatures in the mid-70s. This is a look at some of the showers that we could see overnight tonight, right after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But Futurecast isn't really showing much rain after that. So during the daylight hours, we should be fairly dry but cloudy. And then late in the afternoon, we may start to see a little bit of clearing, setting us up for a warmer day on Sunday. Looking at next week, the pattern changes dramatically. The storm track sets up right here across the southeast, and we could see rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with chilly temperatures to go along with it. Saturday morning, we have a 20% chance, but today and Sunday look nice and dry. But then Monday is at 40%, 50% on Tuesday, and it just continues to climb. How much rainfall will we see in the next 5 to 7 days? It could be as much as 2 inches in some places. We need that rain. We're definitely under moderate drought. So that's good news in some ways and others not. We'll see near record highs on Sunday, but highs in the 40s Monday and Tuesday when that wetter pattern settles in. Ken?
We'll keep the umbrellas handy. Listen, we're going to start in Durham this morning, and you mentioned those damp road conditions. We're seeing that courtesy of our live cam network at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. Traffic is definitely picking up, but flowing nicely in both directions. In terms of the other major routes in the Bowl City, 85, 70, 15501, all free and clear this morning. Let's widen out the view for you and give you a look at what's happening. Right down here, you see the fog that's moving in way to the south of the triangle. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out, maybe in the Fuquay Arena area. But no major incidents reported in any of our major routes. But you're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the triangle.
All right, thank you, Ken. Trouble on the farm. Farmers across the state are dealing with difficulties. Hear how bird flu is complicating the business from pricing to profits.
And capping the vouchers. The Board of Education pushes for a cap on private school assistance. Why they say public schools need the funding.
The Today Show is live in New Orleans this morning as Super Bowl Sunday is just days away. They'll break down the matchup and all the fun for fans, too.
But first, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Snoop Dogg hosted the NFL honors ceremony, and a joke about Bill Belichick stole the show.
All right, Ken Smith is here now with What's Trending. Break it down, Ken.
Chris, people are still laughing this morning. Snoop Dogg reminiscing about the days when the Cowboys were good, the Chiefs were bad. Well, take a listen.
And I remember, what was it? Bill Belichick's girlfriend wasn't even born yet.
Love that cutaway of her expression.
Look at everybody's face.
Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, wore one of his Super Bowl rings, by the way, on the red carpet for this big event.
Yeah, Jordan's 24. He is 72. A lot has been said about their 48-year age difference. Look, they're probably used to those digs and those jokes, various events. But if they are happy, then the coach is happy. And if the coach is happy, maybe that will translate to wins. And that may be good news for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, Carolina fans are hoping that as well. Hey, listen, Magic the Gathering coming to the big screen. Hasbro teaming with a production company to turn the card game into a live-action movie. There are also plans for TV series to follow that as well.
I'm not really surprised just because, I mean, Hasbro is one of those companies that's really trying to capitalize on its products. Mattel too, right, with the Barbie movie and then Transformers with Hasbro. So they're just trying to tap into it with Magic the Gathering with Hasbro.
There you go.
Keep rolling in the money, find ways to make it. Well, former Governor Roy Cooper is heading to Harvard. He's accepted a part-time teaching role at the university. Cooper says in a statement he's considering his political future. In the meantime, he is working with aspiring public servants.
An event in Fayetteville will bring the prom experience to people with special needs. Night to Shine is a global celebration sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation. There will be a red carpet entrance, dinner, dancing, even a crowning ceremony. That's when each guest gets a chance to be king or queen. Tonight's event will happen at the Temple Baptist Church on Santa Rosa Road in Fayetteville, and the fun gets started at 6 p.m.
The unresolved race for a state Supreme Court seat goes to court today. What we expect from the first trial, hearing over 60,000 challenged ballots.
And heading out the door this morning, you'll notice some of the streets are wet. This is a look at downtown Raleigh. Cloudy here, but our skies will be clearing quickly. I'll show you what it'll look like in the next few minutes as our sun comes up.
And we're following some breaking news in Durham. A 29-year-old is dead after he crashed his motorcycle into a car. We'll walk you through what happened.